The matches, they continue, Pappy. They continue. Spawning in the top right-hand corner of the Old Republic, we have the yellow Zerg player. We have the Swedish Zerg representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the pink Protoss player. The pink Protoss himself, the South Green Protoss, representing among SG people, it is ReBellioN. Let's go. Let us go. We are going to be seeing up, of course, and if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we delve into our best of 3. Oh, here we go again. A bit of a ZvP instead, and we'll see how our players keep up with each other. ReBellioN, if you know anything about him, he can be a very unorthodox player. ReBellioN, he does like to mix things up, going to Glaive Adepts, going to Tempest Rushes, Carrier Rushes, weird charge all-ins as well. ReBellioN, he can be a very tricky player to play against. Fjant, on the flip side, is typically a lot more standard. We do expect to see some 3-base aggression out of Fjant for sure, getting up to 66 workers and maybe relying on Ling Hydra timing. And Hydra max outs as well. We'll keep an eye on Fjant. We may even see him mix in some Muta play as well, going into a faster lair, into Spire, into Mutas. I'm sure we'll see that at some point. So for now, we do go for the hatch block. Okay. So Fjant being a little bit spicy early on. Now, there's a bit of a give and take here. This will delay the spawning pool. The pool is going to be delayed. The queen's going to be delayed in favor of this hatchery. This will likewise delay the expand of ReBellioN and slow him down. This is not for an all-in. It is just a delay. And he is forcing out a Zealot. He's forcing 5 pros to be off the mineral line as well. This is good damage for Fjant. I want to say that the most efficient way to deal with this is to not pull the boys, get a second gateway, go for a double Zealot opener, deal with this, shut it down, then get the Cyber Core, of course, build up into 2 Adepts, and then counterattack with 2 Zealots and 2 Adepts. On the one hand, it does mean that expanding is going to be delayed. That is true for the Protoss player, but because you're able to build up a larger force early on, you force out mass amount of Zerglings from your opponents, as the Zerg player cannot drone. In that kind of situation, they won't be able to drone up. They'll struggle to defend if they drone too much, so that you force out a bunch of Lings. You can then out trade as well early on. You can potentially out micro, shade into a mineral line, get some counter damage done, and your opponent can struggle. So that is, I believe, the most efficient way to deal with this. Here instead, ReBellioN goes for a delayed expansion into minimal units early on, so this is better for Fjant. As we do see the Stargate opener out of ReBellioN. Zealot nibbles away the 3rd base, but this is, I mean, this is acceptable damage here. Fjant is happy to just tank that. Drones, saturate, queens are on the way. Link speed just now beginning. He does pull out of gas. This tells us that we're not going any faster at lair timing. True. Oh, my apologies. There we go. Just fixing us up. This way is pretty dang good for unrecognizable. You're adding yourself happy. You need to watch more StarCraft. I mean, a lot of the players that are competing tonight are like regulars for online tournaments, so if you don't really watch much online StarCraft, and if you only watch, say, the big events, then you might be unfamiliar with some of these players. But they're all regulars. Some more than others, of course. As I mentioned previously, like if you weren't watching StarCraft like back in like 2020, 2021, 2022, then it'd be understandable that you would be unfamiliar with art, right? As I mentioned, like art in recent years has been less active, but was very active like in the COVID era of StarCraft. ReBellioN, if you're familiar with Gilding, that was his original ID. That was back in like 2016, 2017, 2018. ReBellioN was a very active competitor in the online tournament circuit in like Lei Fang Cups, Alima Leagues, back in 2016, 2017. ReBellion's been around for a long time. Fjant's younger. more recent player, also rising up during that COVID era. Back then, he still had hope in his eyes. Nowadays, it's been taken away from him. It's the smudge has been very real for players like Fjant and Mixu in recent times. Feels bad, man. Eba as well. Eba a little bit. Eba still has some. No, never mind. I was gonna say he still has a smile on his face, but that's not true. Eba's only smiling because he off races as Protoss a lot. True. Does a lot of off racing. Este Eba. Oh. As your Oracles, they move, they catch out one of the queens. Not bad. Queen gets caught. Behind this, we do see, oh, instead of going into Blink, by the way, it's going to be a charge timing out of ReBellioN. Okay, oh, no, never mind. Cancels. Cancels charge, goes into Blink. A little bit indecisive here from ReBellioN, I will say, as we do have a more standard follow-up as a result. Forge, +1, a Blink, gateways, third base. Nothing crazy here. Originally, we saw charge, but again, going back into standard play. Speaking of standard, Fjant is going to +1 melee, so early Eva Chamber +1 melee. This screams Ling Hydra as a composition of choice, which is ideal building up into that mid-game 4th base all the way, droning, saturating. Again, when it comes to ZvP early game, there's not really too much to really write home about. Here we're just kind of building up into said mid-game. Both players are. We can see the ReBellioN is choosing to go for a tech-heavier follow-up, going into an earlier Templar Archives into Storm. There are some players that go for a heavier gateway count first, and they be aggressive with more gateway units, and then they go into splash damage. But here, ReBellioN is taking. Here we go. Yeah, with that, with that, the Stalkers are able to poke away, just trading with Zerglings, and one of the Oracles does go down, though. Yeah, ReBellioN does overextend, force a recall, losing another Stalker as well. Better trades are Fjant at the same time, counter-stacking, catching out more Stalkers, actually. No battery? No defensive battery, so ReBellioN being greedy, cutting corners, he gets punished for that greed. And as it all settles here, that was 6 Stalkers going down. Heavy losses in terms of gas, heavy trades. Rough trades here for ReBellioN. Fjant holds, he defends. Behind this, Fjant, he drones up to 77, and as we mentioned earlier, he is building up into Ling Hydra, and now he's done droning. At this point, Fjant is done droning. He can now fixate on purely Ling Hydra production, and something that we brought up in the previous series that we can bring up now is welcome to Old Republic. This map, it is very difficult to defend the 4th base. The 3rd is a little bit more exposed and more open, that is true, but if ReBellioN ever tries to get the low ground 4th base or the linear 4th base, it is very open, very accessible. Fjant should not let that happen. So ReBellioN is stuck on 3 bases. He's stuck on 3 bases, stuck turtling up. Storm is now done, Robo's on the way. He's going for the low ground expand. The low ground 4th. And this is where Fjant should move out. As you can see, he's just building up his Hydras. Oh, Fjant is teching, never mind. Fjant's going for the Hive, going for the Lurker Den as well. Is being active, that is true, but is spending resources in terms of teching up and getting ready for the next stage of the game. First Storm lands. Laser collapse in, he wants side Templar, and he will get them. Yeah, 1, 2 Templar going down. Oof, brutal catch here, and with that, ReBellion's army crumbles. The army does crumble. Hydras, they go straight for the Archons, they ignore the 4th expansion. He gets 1, he gets 2. Both Archons go down. And there's no saving this 4th. There's no saving it. We did mention earlier, but this 4th base is so difficult to defend. It will not happen. Fjant, if he had more Zerglings, he could break and end the game here and now. He will still trade well. These are slow zealots. The slow lots. Yeah, so let's say go down. Fjant, he's overwhelming. You're still out of control. Started stepping forward. And GG. Fjant will take game number 1. GG, well played. Whew, as again, ReBellioN, he was punished quite early on, winding it back here. If you remember, ReBellioN, he was being active with his Blink Stalkers. So he was being active and he bled out, what was it, 3 Stalkers early on. He was forced to recall back home. He had no shield battery at his third base. He had just a very rough early game. He lost momentum, he lost map control. It allowed Fjant to get away with droning. He droned up to 4 base saturation, 77 workers, and then just built up into Ling Hydra and just snowballed from there. We saw that ReBellioN even lost one of his first Oracles as well, so just some really rough losses early on. Every loss does matter here, especially in ZvP, and with that, ReBellioN just could not defend his 4th base. The map also comes into play, as we mentioned. It is very difficult to defend the 4th on Old Republic. Now we're loading to game number 2. What were the vetoes? What the... Game 2 is going to be on White Rabbits. Another map where it's difficult to defend the 4th, by the way. Oh boy. Some brutal vetoes are spawning in the top right hand corner of White Rabbits. We have the yellow Zerg player, the Swedish Zerg, leading the series 1-0, representing Team Roddy. It is Fjant. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner, we have his opponents. We have the pink Protoss player, the pink Protoss himself, the South Green Protoss. It is ReBellioN. Here we go. So we are loading into game number 2. And again, welcome to White Rabbits. White Rabbit is a larger map in the map pool, long rush distance by ground, but we did mention previously how difficult it is to defend the 4th base. It does depend on which base you take. We do have our linear 3rd here on the right hand side, and then we have the triangular 3rd base as a 4th base option. We expand on the low ground further on the right hand side, or expand in the center. Now, what is difficult about this map is how far away these bases are. The triangular 3rd, the linear 3rd, the linear 4th base, the forward expansion, the distance between them and having to like rotate back and forth between these locations can be very, very difficult, and the aggressing player has that advantage of being able to rotate and respond and pull you apart. So you've seen many a player struggle to defend on White Rabbits. Oh boy. And we'll see if ReBellioN can build up. My assumption is that ReBellioN is going to go for a more aggressive start this time. Does open Zeld first already, which is interesting. Yeah, an odd start here for our Protoss. And does probe scout across the map. Does cancel. Okay, so it does cancel. Looks like it was just blindly a little bit afraid of, say, like an early pool timing, like a 12 pool. So cancel the Zealots in a Stalker. So far, so good. Oh, and that's going to be a Robo opener, by the way, not Stargates. Okay, yeah, my attention. I did at the validation, true. We did speak about this at the start of the series, how ReBellioN does like to go for some quirky builds. We didn't see anything too quirky in game 1, but here in game 2, Robo opener. Now, this can lead a couple different ways here. With the earlier Robo, this could lead into a Twilight Council, into Templar Archives, into a delayed Archon drop with High Templar. Otherwise, this could be for like a Soul Train-esque all-in and going for early Immortal production into a Prism. Oh, Robo into Forge. Are we going for like an Immortal +1 all-in? You go +1, Mass Immortal, and go for Vanilla Gateway units? Prism first. What's the follow-up going to be? You have my attention. Where is this taking us? Twilight Council. So this looks like Robo into Forge, Twilight Council into Templar Archives into fast Archon production. Feels like that's going to be the case. We'll see if we're going to charge or not. I guess that's the big thing for me. Do we invest into the Twilight Council upgrade, or do we use the Twilight Council as a stepping stone into a Templar Archives? Or do we do both, I suppose? Meanwhile, Fjant does go for the early roach warren. Does make roaches early on as well. Fjant did scout the robo early on, so he's terrified about a 2-base all-in. Don't blame him. Fjant does cut workers very early though. Very early. Fjant definitely could have joined up harder here. Behind this, we have confirmation charge. Charge is on the way. There's the immortal production into +1. Looks like a 2-base all-in. We're not rushing into Archons, not rushing into the Temple Archives. Okay. So the Prism is being active. I'd have to say scout all the roaches. Now, my big concern here is that Fjant invests into all these roaches, and I'm a little bit concerned if he doesn't make use of them. Does he just try to drone from here instead? Yeah, he is. So gases are on the way. Fjant, he does recognize that whatever is happening from the side of ReBellioN is going to be a little bit later, and as a result, he needs to drone up. So these are late drones by Fjant. Again, Fjant was working with incomplete information. It's incomplete. And we'll see what he can get done. Ideally, he nibbles away at the army, right? Getting a zealot here and there, a sentry, ideally. Cannot touch the immortals. So again, needs to take care. As the initial cyber is going to be focused down. Nice pickup. Now going for the gateway. Oh. Once again, he has to respect those immortals. He is looking to break out. Again, this is still a 2-base all-in. Bear that in mind, there is no third expansion. We see Fjant ready for a backstab. And here we go. We're pushing with 4 immortals +1 charge. And how many gateways are with this? 9. Oh my god. There's supposed to be 9, but the 3 gateways are under fire. Okay, Lings, they do back off. They do force a full wall. Here come the warpins. Plenty of sentries, plenty of force fields. There should be some Ravagers to counter that. Beyond cutting works at 40. Nice force was to look down one of the Ravagers. Yeah, one Ravager goes down. Ooh, piles connect. These Zealots are very low. Yeah, they're getting low. Zealots, they just melt here. Link's coming from behind. They're going for the Immortals. They trigger the shields. Ooh, shields are triggered. The Prism gets piled, and with that, the all-in is failing. The all-in does fail. It gets completely shut down. Fjant catching out 1, 2, 3 Immortals. 1 Immortal gets away. Yeah, barely 1 Immortal. GG gets called, and Fjant will claim the series 2-0. GG. Whew. GG, well played. Congratulations, Fjant. Will claim the series. Again, game 1, we had a little bit more of a back and forth, but as I mentioned, ReBellioN just could not get a 4th base in game 1, could not build up, and had a shaky early game leading into that kind of mid-game setup. Here in game 2, we saw ReBellioN go for a 2-base all-in. Fjant did scout the Roper early on. Fjant went for an overreaction and was set up a little bit too soon, so it was a bit of a shakier defense when it came to having an economy to sustain himself, so he droned up to 40 afterwards, but he didn't drone up too much, only up to 40. He still did fixate on his Ling Roach Ravager. Very nice positioning to hold off on those Zerglings until the Zealots went down. So he was being very patient, very patient with those Zerglings. Eventually came in from behind, surrounded the army. GG. Oh, GG, well played. And with that, we're going to be following Fjant into his next series. Okay. So ReBellioN is out. ReBellioN, he's out of the tournament. He's out of the OSC mid-season playoffs, and Fjant, he will advance on into the next round where he has another Protoss waiting for him. Oh boy. Not going to be an easy opponent. If you remember, this player got knocked down last week by Cure. Cure did knock him down, and now he's looking to get some revenge. We'll see if he can bounce back. We'll see if he can make a tournament run out of this. Oh boy. It is going to be Fjant versus Harston. There they go.